Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and today I'm making this video to give you guys some advice as to which Ninjago Crystalized sets you should buy. I made something like this for the Master of the Mountain Wave about 2 years ago, and people seem to really like this video, and I actually had a few requests for this video to be made. So now that I've reviewed them all and had some time with all these sets, I want to give you my thoughts as to which ones are the best ones to pick up and which ones you should skip out on. This one, though, is a little bit different than the Master of the Mountain Wave, because with that one, a lot of the minifigures and whatnot were shared between multiple sets, so I was like, oh, if you're at a budget, get this set. If you want the best builds, get this set. But with this wave, if you want every minifigure, you do have to buy every set. So it makes it harder, because if you're skipping out on a certain set, you're also skipping out on a certain character, a certain variant. So it makes it hard to say, like, which ones to skip out on, because if you are a collector who, like, wants to get, like, the main parts of the season, it's hard to say, oh yeah, skip this one, skip that one. But let me give you what are, in my opinion, the 3 most skippable sets. And they're each skippable for their own reasons, but I'd say if you're very much a completionist, but you still are going to skip some, you should either skip the Temple, the Dragon, or the Crystal King Mech. The Temple, in my opinion, is skippable just because the build is not that great. You can go check out my review for my more in-depth thoughts, but in short, this entire front section feels incomplete. It feels like there should be more there. And the main Temple at the back is good, but it's not $80 good. Compare this to something like the Skull Sorcerer's Dungeon. That one was significantly bigger for only $20 more. And while, like, the visual aesthetic of this one is cool, I do feel like the build is very lackluster. Additionally, when it comes to the minifigures, yes, there is 4 exclusive variants in this set. However, there is 0 exclusive characters. So if you want the normal versions of the ninja, this is unfortunately your only way to get them. But the golden versions of the ninja come in multiple other sets, and in my opinion, the golden versions are better than the normal versions. So if you're not going to get anything every way, I think it's okay to skip out on this one. But on the other hand of that, if you're looking to get all the ninja and the main villain for as cheap as possible, this set is the way to do it. Because you get the main 4 ninja and the Crystal King in an $80 set, and there's no other way to get all of them for that cheap. So that is something to consider. The Golden Dragon, I think, is skippable because it has the smallest number of exclusive figures, and it is also the most expensive set this wave. So if you are buying on a budget and you want to get, like, as much of the season as possible, skipping on that one will save you a lot of money, and you actually won't lose that much in terms of, like, your total number of things that you have from the season. The build on that one is fairly good. It definitely has its flaws, but I overall do really like it. But I also feel like it's definitely overpriced, so it's a good one to maybe skip out on and later get if you ever find it on sale. But then again, on the other hand of that, if you're only going to get one set, that's a pretty good one to get. Because the build is very nice. It's one of the nicest looking sets this wave. Probably my 2nd or 3rd favorite build overall. And it does come with all 4 ninja and Lloyd and the Crystal King and some just generic villains. So if you're only going to get one, this is actually a good starter set to get, because you get pretty much everyone you need. You just don't get the side characters or anything. And then the 3rd most skippable set, in my opinion, is the Crystal King Mech. And it pains me to say this, because the Crystal King Mech is actually my favorite build of the wave. So if you're someone who doesn't care about minifigures, you don't care about the show, you just care about cool, like, builds for LEGO sets, the Crystal King would be the one I recommend the most. Because the build on this one is unique and fantastic, with a whole centaur mech. It's got a great aesthetic, and it's one of the best priced sets of this wave. And it does have a few cool minifigures, namely the normal Lloyd minifigure, which is exclusive to that set, and the Harumi minifigure, which is exclusive to that set. However, a very similar Harumi can be made using your own parts from other sets, as well as previous Harumi figures you've gotten. And the Lloyd suit is good, but there is previous Lloyd suits that are quite similar. And then there's also the short Crystal King, but the tall Crystal King is cooler and comes in 2 other sets. So if you're mainly a minifigures person, you don't care as much about the builds, I'd say that is a fine one to skip out on. Because despite having a good minifigure selection, the minifigure selection in pretty much every other set is better. So if you want to save the $70, yeah, don't pick that one up. But yeah, as a whole, if you're very much completionist and you want to get as much as you can, if you're going to skip any, make it one of those 3. Now that being said, let's turn to the other side, which are the most important sets to get. As I mentioned earlier, if you have a very tight budget, you can only get like 1 or 2 sets. I'd say the Golden Dragon or the Temple are good ones to get if you're only going to get one, because you do get the entire main cast and the main villain. If you can afford the Dragon is much better than the Temple in terms of build, and the figures are much better, but obviously that is significantly more expensive. However, if a complete ninja line is not like what you want the most, the set I would recommend the most to get first is Nia Samurai X Mech, because you get pretty much everything in that set. The build itself is pretty good, one of my favorite builds of the wave. Crystal King is my favorite, but that's probably my 2nd or 3rd with the Golden Dragon. I'm not sure which of those 2 I prefer. It's a really unique looking mech, it looks great on the shelf, it's very vertical, so it's very easy to store. But then in terms of minifigures, you get such a wide variety. You get one of the Golden Ninja, the exclusive Garmadon, Wu, Nia, and Nelson, and then you get 2 of the Vengestone Generals, which are super cool figures, and I recommend everyone try to get at least 1 Vengestone General. You also do get the Golden Weapons in this set, which do come in every set except for the Crystal King. Another reason why the Crystal King is skippable, it doesn't come with the Golden Weapons, which are very cool parts to get. So I feel like with that one, the build is very solid, so you're not just buying it for the minifigures. However, it is the best minifigure and build combination, especially for the price. Is it overpriced? Yes, just like every other set this wave, but it's one of the better priced sets. It's not like the Kai thing here where it's incredibly overpriced. So that would be the set I recommend you get first. In addition to that, I would recommend everybody try to get at least one of the Golden Dragon, like Wing Ninja. These guys come in 4 separate sets this wave, and they're some of the coolest looking Ninjago minifigures, some of the coolest looking LEGO figures of all time. And I really think if you're a Ninjago fan, you should not miss out on them. Getting all 4 is expensive, so I recommend everybody try to get at least one. The cheapest way to get one is Jay on Jay's Golden Dragon motorbike. However, I would recommend probably, if you're on a budget, get Zane's plane instead. It is $10 more expensive, but then you also get the General Vangelis figure, as well as a Golden Zane minifigure. And that's the one that comes with Golden Dragon Cole, which is one of the best ones in my opinion. If you can afford Cole's car, I do think it's a slightly better build than Zane's. And then Kai's Golden Dragon Raider is my favorite build of the 4 vehicles, and has my favorite Golden Dragon Ninja, Zane. However, it is the most overpriced of all the sets. That one is $90 compared to $30, $45, and $20. And that should not be a $90 set. It should be $60, maybe $70. So that one's incredibly overpriced. If money's not an issue for you, yeah, for sure, pick that one up. It is like one of the best looking ones. And it's got some of the coolest figures. You get Mr. F in that set, you get Golden Dragon Zane, Golden Kai, and you get Skylar, who's exclusive. And as I said, I really love the build. But yeah, for that price, if you're only going to get a few sets, I recommend you get one of these instead. So yeah, that's my main recommendation. If you're buying on a budget of, let's say, $150, get the Samurai X Mech and either the Zane Plane or J-Bike. My recommendation would be the Zane Plane, but if you're a huge fan of J, like I would get the J-Bike instead. But if you're on an even smaller budget than that, in my Master of the Mountain video, I did like a $50 budget option. There's not that many options for $50. Cole Car is great to get because you get one of the generic villains as well. You get General Asphera, you get Golden Cole, and you get Golden Dragon Kai, which is probably my second favorite or third favorite to the Golden Dragon Ninja. And the build of that one, in my opinion, is better than the Zane Plane, but the J-Bike is probably better, even though it is small. So yeah, you have 2 options essentially on a $50 budget. You get that, or you get these 2. And I think the Zane Plane and J-Bike is a slightly better option because you get 1 more figure, and you get a wider variety of figures. And yeah, I think that's most of the advice I have for this video. I hope that made sense. It's hard to recommend which ones you should get when there's reasons to get every single set. But to sum it all up, if you're going to skip one, skip the Temple, the Dragon, or the Mech. If you only care about builds and don't care about figures, the Crystal King Mech is my highest recommendation, followed by the Golden Dragon, the Nia Mech, and the Kai vehicle. If getting the main cast of minifigures, the main characters in the villain, is your highest priority, I recommend either the Dragon or the Temple. Dragon if you can afford it, but if the Temple's the only thing that's in your budget, I guess get that one. Though I would highly recommend saving up for the Dragon instead, because it is significantly better. And then if you're on a budget but you just want the widest variety of stuff, like just the coolest combination of builds and figures and everything, my recommendation is Samurai X Mech first, and then one of the ninja vehicles, whichever one's your favorite. You can get whatever one comes with the Golden Dragon version of your favorite ninja, or if you don't care which one, Zane Plane or Cole Car is the one I recommend. Zane Plane because it's cheaper, and Cole Car because it has slightly better minifigures overall, and a significantly better build. As a whole though, this wave can be summed up by great sets, great minifigures, terrible prices. The worst builds this wave, I'd say, are the Temple and the Plane. The Plane's not even that bad, I just don't love it as much as I'd hope to. But the Temple is the only set that I can say I don't really like the build at all. So yeah, I hope that all provides some help for you guys. If you have any questions or like specific, like, oh, should I get this one and this one, leave it down in the comments and I'll do my best to reply to as many as I can. And if you want to see my more in-depth thoughts about any of the sets or just all the minifigures as a whole, go click the card in the top right corner. It'll take you to a playlist that has all my reviews in it, my reviews of the golden weapons, and my reviews of every minifigure in this wave. And in those videos, I give my much more in-depth thoughts about, is this set worth it, should you get it, etc, etc. But as for this video, I think that's going to do it. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed, please press like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I do LEGO and Ninjago videos like this almost every day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!